welcome to another What You Want Wednesday. Today's question that I got was, can I use an envelope punch board to make boxes? And the answer is yes. And now that I've figured that out, I am just having a blast trying to find out all sorts of things that I can do to make boxes with an envelope punch board. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But first, you know what I have to do. Get yourself ready because this is going to be a relaxing, rejuvenating time. So I have my candle on in the background. I have my favorite pair of boots for today. Still wearing boots because in my neck of the woods it is freezing and we got more snow last night. So I put my boots on and I'm going to show you how to use that envelope punch board. Stick around till the very end of the video because I actually have some tips for you at the end. Enjoy. All right, I am so excited to show you how to use your envelope punch board to make boxes, and now that I've done this, I am slightly obsessed. So I want to show you just two sizes first of all to really just give you the idea behind what it takes, because this, you could make a box in any size that you want using this. And I'm sorry, I'm fighting a cold, so my voice is a little scratchy today. So basically what you need to do for what I'm showing you today is start out with a square sheet of paper. So this is just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to try and see, if I move this out of the way, if I could make a box out of an 8.5 by 11. I have my Stampin' Up! Cutter here. So this goes to a 6, but I need to get it to 8.5 because I want to make it 8.5 square. So I just pull the arm out and I'm going to trim this side down to 8.5 so that I have a square sheet of paper. That aside. And what I did was I took my handy calculator and divided 8.5 by 3. Whatever size square you have, if you divide it by 3, that will help you figure out where to put your score marks. And that is 2.833333 and so on, which seems a little strange, but I thought, you know what, to transfer that decimal number into inches, I went with 2 3/4, and this works. So I think by, I'm going to keep experimenting with this and share those ideas with you. So I'm going to line this up at 2 3/4. Again, this is for an 8.5 by 8.5 piece of paper, cardstock. This is cardstock. And I'm just going to punch, kind of hard, awkward position I'm sitting in here, and then just score this side down. Now this sheet of paper almost gets to the end, so that works out pretty well. Just going to rotate it, but I'll show you. Even if your score line doesn't go to the end, it's okay, because when we flip our paper over, again, 2 3/4, it will help those lines match up. So whatever you didn't get to on the end of your paper, when we flip this paper over, and I'm just using a plain piece of cardstock today so you can hopefully see the crease lines for my folds a little bit better. So I've done all 4. I'm going to now flip it over and do the same thing, and you'll see my score line is right there. Whoops, I got that one a little bit off. I'm going to line that up so it helps bridge that gap there. So I'm really not scoring a whole lot because some of those lines almost got all the way through. Okay, so I just have the one score line. I don't know if I can get this kind of holding in the light so you can see those. But what I need to do now is make the depth of the box. You can kind of imagine how this is all going to work out. This piece here is going to be the flap that folds closed on the box. So in order to fold that closed, I need a score line right along this edge. So what I'm going to do is just line this up so that my little tab here is just on the line. Kind of line this line up here, and then I'm going to score that line. And I'll just rotate it for each one of those. Again, just kind of lining that up on that line for the tab. I think it makes it easier when you're thinking about what the pieces are going to be. This is going to fold over, which then also opens up a whole world for different things that you can do with this. Okay, so I have that all scored. So now I'm going to go through and fold on all my score lines.
And essentially, if you've watched my gift box punch board video, you'll know that this looks very similar. In fact, the only difference between what the gift box punch board gives you is that it gives you a crease right here so that you can fold those tabs together to bring that box in. Now, you could score your own and just score a line in here by folding these two edges together. That would be fine. But I think an easier way, and I like the way this box goes together better, is just to give a slit here so that this can fold together. So you see how that's working? So when I make these slits, I want to do one on each side. And I want it just to go right down with, should be following a score line there, just following right along the tab. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. And then I want to turn it over, and I want to always cut, see how I've cut this direction? I want to do the same thing on the other end. So I want those slits to be made in the same direction. So now, let's see if I can pull this out. Oops, wrong way. So now what I can do is fold that box together. And then, oh, always on camera, I'm a little fumbly here, but I can piece those together. So I just want to show you how I adhere mine. I'm going to take my snail adhesive, and again, kind of thinking where this is going to be, I want these two pieces to be sealed together. So I'm just going to fold that tab over and run my adhesive, whoa, sorry about that, run my adhesive right along that line. So when I bring this box together here, those edges are sealed. And I will do the same thing on this side. Of course, as you put it together, you got to be a little creative. Again, fumbly. Oh my gosh, I got stuff falling all over. For calling myself Miss Fancy Stamps, I am not the most coordinated person in the world. Not the most graceful by any means. But that's kind of how I operate. A little bit of incongruity there as I describe myself. And okay, so those sides all go together. Now I have my tabs on the top, and you could just, you can adhere these a number of ways. What I like to do, and I still use my snail adhesive, which is actually kind of interesting because I'm just using a real little tiny blip on there. And I'm just going to give myself a little piece of adhesive on 3 of them. And then I can fold those in. So really, this is like an envelope. And then I'm going to give one final one on this side. And there's your box. How cute. Because you could do anything you want with this box. You could stamp the paper before you do it. You can use designer paper, which is what I want to show you quickly using a 12 by 12 sheet. So I'm going to use a sheet of 12 by 12 paper. And this is from the designer paper from the Celebration catalog. Now I don't need to trim this down, obviously, because it's a 12 by 12. So I want to get my envelope punch board here. And remember that we're dividing by 3. And I will admit to you, embarrassingly, that I took my calculator, that I divided my 8.5 by 3 to figure out that score dimension. And I actually divided 12 by 3. Seriously. When 4 came up, I was like, oh, duh. Anyway, I don't know why I share some of these things with you, because it makes me look kind of like an idiot, but that's just the way it is. Okay, so I'm doing this at 4. Now, one thing that's different with this is this paper is much too big for me to score all the way through, which, like we did with the other one, when we flip this paper over, those score lines will match up. So it's not a problem. So I'm simply going at 4, punching, scoring. I am in love with being able to use this envelope punch board to make boxes. So Julie, shout out to you again. Julie is an awesome person who visits my webpage and asks me all sorts of questions and motivates me, shares ideas with me. So I really appreciate that. If you have questions, remember, you can go on my website and ask. She had wondered if we could use the envelope punch board to make gift boxes, which I am thankful for because that has now opened up this whole door of creativity. And I already have some other ideas that I'm working on that I will be sharing with you. So this is not the last you're going to see of the envelope punch board. Okay, I have the basic ones done. Now again, I need my flap to be able to curl in for my box. So I line that up. And you could do, as long as you can divide it by 3 and even get close, as I showed you with the 8.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock, blah, 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 you could make a box out of it. I'm just showing you one way to put these together, but I already have ideas for some different things, especially with Easter coming up and Easter baskets. So be sure to keep watching for my videos. Fold up on all the score lines. And I love this designer paper because it is, the inside of the box has a gorgeous pattern as well. You can use either side. In fact, I think I already scored these, but you know what? I love this side, so I want my box to be this on the outside. So you can change your mind, which anybody that knows me knows that I change my mind all the time. I have a real tough time making a decision and sticking to it. When it comes to creativity, I guess that's just how the brain works. Okay, again, we're close to folding this up, but we have to do something with these corners. You could fold them in half, make that crease, or very simply do that little snip along the fold line. Again, keeping those in the same direction. You don't want to snip that. You don't want to snip the other side and snip this whole piece off, because then that would kind of destroy your ability to put that box together. Okay, so now, this one's a little bit bigger to grab onto, but you can see how with those, okay, the 12 paper is hard to hold together here, but you can see how that's going to fold together. All right, I want to glue these, so I'm going to use my snail adhesive, and again, I run it right along, I fold it over and I run it right along that line, because I want the edges of the box to be totally put together. I don't want there to be any gap or anything, in case I put something extremely valuable in this box to give to somebody, like chocolate. Alright, so there's the beginning of the box. I just need to fold down my tabs. I'm going to, after I would put something in here, obviously. Didn't get any on there, did I? There's a lot of different adhesives you could use for this, but when I'm using something, I just go with what's convenient. Okay, so I have that last tab down. Get that. Need to get my finger in there. Do I have any on there? A little more on there. And there you have a box. Look at how adorable that is. Any size. You can do any size paper that you can divide by 3. That's all you have to do to use your envelope punch board. I'm not going to show you any other tricks because I have some up my sleeve, but I'm saving them for you. So make sure you keep tuning in to www.MissFancyStamps.com and see what else we can do with this envelope punch board. If you don't have one, I think you need one. If you would like to order one from me and don't have a demonstrator, please visit my website and you can shop with me there. Alright, I hope you're still watching this video because I want to give you a few tips. After re-watching my video and looking back, I tend, as I film these things, to do them very quickly because I want to get it done fast. I talk and talk, blah, 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 forever, and I don't seem to be too worried about the time there. But then when it comes to the stamping, I'm like just flying through it. And I realized as I looked back, these box sides did not look very good. And I don't want you to think that that's, if you line it like this, obviously that is not a nice corner. So what I did was I just want to show you a couple of things. First of all, I need to slow down. And if I take my time with these edges here, and just am a little more careful, that edge looks so much better. So I just need to be aware of doing that and slowing down a little bit, taking time to line those up so that it gives it a nice corner. So if you looked at those boxes that I made and thought, oh, those edges don't look very good, realize that if you just take a few minutes, take a little extra time, that's not going to be an issue for you. But then I was thinking about it, and I thought, you know, I kind of like, I had showed you the way to snip these, and that makes folding them very, very simple. But I kind of like the way the edges of the box look when I use the gift box punch board. So I thought the difference between what I showed you and the gift box punch board is that it gives you that score line right here, and then it folds it together so you always have kind of finished edges on there. So I wanted to come up with a different technique just to give you another option, because I wanted my box to look a little bit neater. So what I did was I thought, you know, I just need a score line in between. Now I can fold these together. I could fold this. Oops, let me get it in the camera here. I could fold this and try to make them match up, which would be fine, but you don't have a nice crease here. But I thought all you really need is a crease line down the middle. So I'm just going to line, and get my thing on the right thing. I'm going to take the corner of this envelope punch board, and I'm going to put my paper on here, and I don't think this doesn't even have to be exact. And I'm just giving myself a little score line. So now I can fold those corners together. And again, just taking some time, Miss Fancy Stamps. And now I can seal that up, and it's not a cut edge anymore. So I can do that with each one of my little pieces that'll make the corner. Kind of lining those up on the corner, bottom corner of this. And there might be other ways that you can do it. You know, I'm just kind of going by the fly here, and they aren't maybe lined up exactly in the corner. Again, that's kind of how I do things, and I make it work. And that's just, I'm not the kind of person that takes so much time and patience to figure it out all beforehand. I kind of figure it out as I go and then keep perfecting it. So I'm hoping that is a method that works for you. So now I have the piece in here that's folded. So I'm going to, let's get this the right way, I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive, and then taking my time, fold those corners together. Now that's a more finished edge. Inside, you kind of have this little flap, but if you want to, just apply a little adhesive on there and tape it down. So I can go around to each one of these, give myself a little adhesive on the outer edge, fold those up together, trying to take my time. This is so against my nature. And actually, I don't even know if I need to glue all those down because they are seeming to come together kind of nicely. Okay, give it a fold first. Oops, I need to hold this a different way here. Okay, did I not fold that crease line very good? Let me get this one folded too. It might come together. There we go. It's going to come together a little bit easier. Fold that one in. And then my last one. Get a little bit of adhesive in there. And fold that together as well. So it just has a more polished edge on it. And then you can finish the rest of the box the way you wanted to. I just need to take a little more time. And I'll be learning this. Like I said, if you've watched any of my beginning videos, I'm learning right along with you, just discovering things, and I think maybe that makes it a little more real for you and realize, you know what, sometimes you have to work with things a little bit and take your time. So, I hope I helped you see that this box can have a really beautiful edge. Just takes a little bit of time and patience, and that's something that I keep working on. All right, we'll see you later. Goodbye.